Sands. I'm here with Heather and Mike from Majors Junction. I'm going to ask you a few questions. How did the band get started?
Well, back in 2000, maybe one, I think, about 2000, 2001, I got together with my buddy Chris Ganji and his friend from high school, Mark Johns. And we got together and jammed, and out of that, Mark and I started to work together, and he had some great songs, I had some songs, and we ended up going into the studio and recording the first song, which is 4 O'Clock Road. And actually I wasn't even there for any of the musical part. I came in afterwards and I did a vocal part over it. And after we recorded that tune, we said, well, this is fun, let's keep going and try to record some more songs. And then from there, we just have evolved, and now 12 years later, 11 years later? 12. 13 years later. 14. Yeah, 14. So yeah, 13 years later, we've got 3 CDs out, and we're working on our next one. We might make it 2 at the same time because we've been building up some material. We've had some children, and so they sort of...
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got 4 great kids, and they're keeping us busy. So, but we're making progress, and we're hopefully this summer we'll have something out.
Well, that throws a quick question in. When did you meet Heather? And she became a part of the band.
Well, I knew Heather back in high school, and we actually didn't really sit down and talk until we were at a piano at a party one night, and we ended up splitting ways that night, but then met back up
a couple of years.
So when was that? Like what year?
95. Actually, we started dating in 95 and got married in 2000.
Yep.
And here we are.
Here we are.
4 kids and 20 years later.
Oh,
and a band.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So how did you come up with the name Majors Junction, and whose idea was that?
So I took a trip around the U.S. in 1996 with 2 of my buddies in a van, and we did a show for WGN Radio called On the Road with the Boys.
Okay.
And so we basically traveled 26,000 miles around the United States, and every Monday at 4:20 we would call in to WGN Spike O'Dell show and say, here's where we are, here's what we're doing, and it was a blast. So on one of the adventures we were on, we were driving through eastern Nevada and heading south on a highway in the middle of nowhere, and in the distance we see little neon beer lights, and we were like, what is this? And we look at the map, and it's a place called Majors Place, and it's where 3 highways come together. It's about 30 miles from the nearest town, and we went in there and met 2 guys that lived in the bar. They lived there and worked there, Bruce and Dale, and they had a dog named Dog. And there was a couple one-armed bandits, a pool, a billiard table, a jukebox, and we went in there and said, told them our story. We were on the road, and they invited us in, built a fire. We had firewood in our van, brought firewood in, built a fire, and they said, what are you doing? Where are you going for the night? We're like, well, we were just going to go sleep in our car. And they're like, come on, sleep on the, crash here. So we pulled down our sleeping bags, crashed on the floor, woke up. They served us a great breakfast, free of charge, didn't charge us anything, and like sent us on our way. So I thought that it would be a good name for a band, because especially our band, given 14 years where good people come together, help each other out, and often move on. And so it's literally a sort of a junction where it's a great place to congregate and create music. And so that's sort of how we got there.
That's wonderful. That's okay. Who writes your song? Or wait, can you tell me some of the music that's inspired you?
The Beatles, the band.
Beatles, the band.
Johnny Cash,
Waylon Jennings,
Bonnie Raitt,
Rolling Stones. Gosh. You know, I like a lot of, you know, all the way back to the people that were inspired, those people that were inspired us were inspired by others, and so the whole lineage of
Robert Johnson.
country, Robert Johnson and you know, Hank Williams and all the old school, you know, people that have taken their own flavor to roots music and sort of added their spin. So we're just putting our own little spin on it and trying to make it our own. So.
Well, it's wonderful.
Thanks.
Who writes your songs, and how do the musical components all come together?
Well, I write most of the music, but Mark Johns contributes to it, Jeff Bartlett, Kevin Klein, Kylie Ruggiero, and so we have a lot of different songwriters that contribute. And how they all come together, it's sort of like it's a funnel, and it starts with a bunch of ideas, and you know, it could be scribbled on a piece of paper, it could be I sit down and record something that sort of is like you know, free prose, and then I'll go back and I'll tweak it and sort of find, like, you know.
So you majorly come up with the lyrics yourself, or and then everyone else works together musically to put it together? Or?
I'll put together a framework of music and lyrics, and so what I like to do is when I'm bringing in the other artists, you know, to play, is let them paint on the canvas that's there. So it's, you know, I generally try not to dictate, like, okay, this, you play this here, you play this here. It's more, you know, you're talented, you can bring something to the table, you know, do your thing. And so I think that brings ownership to everybody.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. What songs or what song or songs are you most proud of? Is there one that sticks out, or a couple?
It's
like I won't go into what I love.
Well, you know, it's interesting. The songs are like kids. Like I love them all, and they all have their good days and their bad days where I like them or maybe I don't like them. You know,
not that you don't like your kids.
But you know, it's just it's hard for me to have judgment on any of the material.
I just find your lyrics sometimes deep because I listen to the Good vs. Evil a lot, and I listen to it, and every time, like, there'd be a different song on there that grabs me, and it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but I mean, I listen to a lot of bands and see a lot of bands, and sometimes the lyrics are missing. It's all, you know, there's good music, but it seems like you have both, and it's
cool.
It's good to hear and good to see.
Thanks. You know, it's exciting when people actually do listen, because it's rare these days. It is, you know, so much. People are pounded with so much information. To sit down and like listen and like try to understand or
hear the story,
formulate your own like thought on what it might mean. You know, that to me, that's the cool thing with music.
I really love the album Good vs. Evil. There are some special guests on it. I really like the fiddle or violin on the song Good vs. Evil. Can you tell us who it is and how you chose them to be on the CD?
That's Allie Kral. Yeah, and she's of course a great friend and
from our hometown.
From our hometown, and literally lived down the street in Surrey Hill growing up, and so she's in the band. Was in the band Cornmeal with Chris Ganji. It's sort of weird how all these things come together.
Yeah, I didn't know Chris Ganji was even involved in the original band. I find that interesting because now he's doing kind of a little country type of thing. It's not really country, but it's him and
Dupree.
Wavy.
Dave, who plays with us from time to time too, and you know, so it's a fun, you know, fun group of people, and it's, I'm proud to be a part of all of it.
Another instrument that stood out on Good vs. Evil was on the big picture. The horns on the big picture I just thought were just awesome, the way they came in for that little bit and went out. I was just wondering who that was.
Oh my gosh, you put me on the spot. What are their names? Oh no, I can't remember.
Well,
Colin made the arrangements.
No, I agree. They're fabulous, but there's.
But that's the way you said earlier, how you let the people make their own textures. On that album, there's so many textures. Even on the Asteroids, 1957, I think it's called. the slide guitar on that at the beginning and the end, it almost like Grateful Dead-ish. It goes, it's wonderful. I don't know who that is either, but it's wonderful.
That's Bandit actually on that part. So, and he plays with
Grit and the
double knit, Grit and the double knit. So another band around town here.
Northside Southpaws.
And the Northside Southpaws.
I always I love to hear about other people and when they add to a band, because then I like to go listen to their music and see what they do. Okay, I don't want to waste too much of your time. How about one of your favorite modern day bands that you like to see live?
Well,
I enjoyed Beck. I like going to see him live. That's somebody we saw the Allman Brothers.
Allman Brothers, yeah.
That's also another kind of like, they had a lot of people on stage and they got, you know, different sounds coming out. And always a good.
Yeah, that is good.
You go wrong with them.
Yeah, and who did I just see?
Oh.
I don't know. I can't remember. I had a really good time.
As long as you had a good time, that's all that matters.
Little editing.
Yeah. Let's go in. Lindsey OBrien band is joining your band, or?
Well, so Lindsey is Heather's and Kylie's sister, and so she's been out in Colorado for the last
15 years or something, almost.
So she's moved back here, so she's gonna join in the fun and be a part of the whole crew. And so we'll be adding some of her songs, her original music to the set. So we'll have.
So it's making it more like a family band, which is nice.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, your kids will be singing and playing instruments. You can replace these guys with your teach your kids to load drums. Yeah. Okay.